Welcome back to 5 rounds and the mini series that is looking at the best of UFC in 2021. I am your host Mags, and I'm here with the podcast that has the cardio for those deep water championship rounds. And in this episode, I want to kind of look at some of the better events that UFC have put on. But before we get to that, this episode will be dropping into the new year. So I hope you've had a great new year. Hope you start 2022 in the best of spirits. I hope 2022 is a year that you have found all the success and happiness that you deserve. But yeah, UFC, for all the kind of controversy and the backstage stuff with Dana White and his issues with COVID and the bullish way he kind of approached the world pandemic. We have to give him props that he did what he set out to do and kept the shows rolling and created a whole fight island for keeping shows going. Created the UFC Apex for keeping shows going and really kept us MMA fans entertained throughout this last 2 years or so of a COVID-19 riddled world. So yeah, I wanted to look at 5 of the best events that UFC gave us in 2021. So first, I want to go to a pretty recent one. UFC Fat Night, Jose Aldo versus Rob Font, and this card was pretty interesting from beginning to end. Maybe with one kind of outlier fight, but yeah, we got the knockout of Vince Morales on Louis Smolka. We got the knee bar that Claudio Puelles did on Chris Grutzemacher. We got the Manuel Cape absolutely whooping the living piss out of Salga Zumagulov. We did get the bizarre kind of Alonzo Menifield versus William Knight fight, which was kind of like the turd in the punch bowl. But then we get to the main card of this event. We get Chris Curtis with that huge upset. We get the comeback from everybody's favourite caveman, Clay Guida. We get a knockout by Jamal Hill. And we get the spinning wheel kick from Rafael Fiziev. And then the main event was absolutely superb. 2 guys really going to war with Jose Aldo and Rob Font. So yeah, UFC Fight Night Aldo versus Font. To say it was a card that was free. Yeah, it's one to definitely go and check out, and I implore you all to do so. So coming in at 4, let's look at UFC 269. Again, a pretty recent one, headlined by Charles Oliveira defending his newly won UFC lightweight title against fan favourite, all-round good guy, slayer of Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. And again, this had a very well balanced card, very end to end in terms of action. We got in the prelims, we had the likes of Dominic Cruz versus Pedro Munoz. We had Josh Emmett taking on Dan Ige. We had Jeff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio, which again, kind of like the Rob Font and Jose Aldo show. That was kind of like the piss break match almost, the kind of cool off match. But then we saw glorious knockouts by Julian Paiva and Carcara France. We got the epic Juliana Pena submission of Amanda Nunes again. Mentioned that in the show last week, how it was one of the biggest upsets and kind of like set Juliana Pena on the road to being a star in MMA. But we also got that epic epic win for Charles Oliveira, who, after getting knocked down pretty early in the fight, was able to survive and really kind of dominate, then getting the submission victory. So, number 4 is UFC 269. In third place, and again we're going back to the free cards, it's another UFC Fat Night, this time headlined by Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez. And the reason why this one stands out for me is if you are a kind of a casual MMA fan, or if you kind of transition from the kind of boxing part of combat sports, this was certainly the event that would have piqued your interest. Out of the 11 fights, 8 of them ended with knockouts. 7 of those in a row, which I think may be a UFC record. We had the elbow knockout from Daeun Jung of Kennedy Zachukwu. We had Joel Alvarez destroying Thiago Moises, and then we had Chaos Williams becoming a real knockout artist with his third round clean out of Miguel Bieza. Then going on to the main event, Jesus Christ, Max Holloway and Yair Rodriguez didn't give the knockout that the show had become known for, but what we did get was 5 rounds of 2 guys just beating the living piss out of each other, just absolutely trying to demolish each other's face. So much output from both guys, such a heart and such grit from both fighters. One of the standout fights of the year for me. Max Holloway really kind of showing the fighter that we know him to be, the person who was in everybody's list of being one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world. We got a return to form for Max Holloway from that. So that's definitely an event that really, really stands out. So that's UFC Fight Night, Holloway versus Rodriguez. Next up at number 2, and it's the first one headlined by Kamaru Usman. We'll be hearing a little bit more about him in the number 1, but it's UFC 261, Usman versus Masvidal 2. And again, this had some outstanding matches and outstanding finishes. We got some outstanding battles with Vargas and Zhu, and then Sabatini and Connolly on the prelims. We got some great submissions with Robertson tapping out to Brendan Allen's ankle lock. We got the rear naked choke from Randy Brown on Alex Oliveira. Then we get to the main card, and we do see a couple of issues in terms of leg injuries. We see Jimmy Crute have to essentially give up to Anthony Leonard Smith after a leg injury, and then we see Chris Weidman's leg break against Uriah Hall, which absolutely looked brutal, and it seemed like that this card was going to be a bit of a damp squib, but the 3 title matches more than made up for that. We've seen Bullet Shevchenko just destroying Jessica Andrade. We see Rose Namajunas only needed just over a minute to sleep Weili Zhang. And then we see Kamaru Usman brutally knock Jorge Masvidal's head into next week with that huge right hand, to the point where Masvidal was memed in being fast asleep before his head even hit the ground. So after a great start to the card, and then a kind of a bit of concern at the start of the main card part with the injuries. We certainly the title matches lived up to all expectations, and it ended up being one of the most outstanding cards of the year. But for me, it was bettered by one, and that's UFC 268, Usman versus Colby Covington 2. And again, this had 2 Fight of the Year candidates on. But not only that, we had Chris Barnett with a massive spinning wheel kick to knock Gian Vellante out. We saw some really entertaining matches on the prelim with the likes of Bagdasarian picking up the victory over Souza, with Jacobi getting the win over Allen. Then we had Chris Curtis with his knockout of Hawes. We saw Bobby Green and Al Iaquinta go to war before Bobby was able to starch Al. We saw Alex Pereira getting the second round flying knee knockout of Michailidis. And then on the main card, it was just hit after hit after hit. Opens with a couple of unanimous decisions, one for Gaethje over Michael Chandler, and then one for Shane Burgos over Billy Quarantillo. Then we start getting into the finishes with Marlon Vera getting the knockout, the late knockout of Frankie Edgar. Rose Namajunas able to defend her title successfully against Weili Zhang. Weili really kind of putting in a really good performance, and I'm sure we'll see those two go round the park again. But the main event was a mauling for Kamaru Usman. Absolutely destroyed Colby Covington. Wasn't able to get the finish, but certainly got the decisive unanimous decision after periods where maybe he was a little bit worried in terms of Colby wrestling that title away from him, but he did prove that he has the grit and the heart of a champion. So yeah, definitely, if you have time to go back and watch it, I would recommend any of those pay-per-views, but specifically I would recommend going back to watch UFC 268, an outstanding show. But again, that is all from me in this mini series as we build up to UFC returning on January the 15th. But that's all from me right now. You can follow me on the Twitters at PodfatherMags. Follow Carlos at Kirby_Carlos, and definitely go and check out all the rest of the amazing content creators on the networks that we are a part of here at Visionaries Global Media, here at The Chair Shot, and of course here at Radio Tekkers. Thank you all for listening, and that is the end.